So last week there was some really sad news. A 15-year-old schoolgirl got stabbed to death by a 17-year-old boy in Croydon. Broad daylight, happened in the morning. She was on the way to school, actually. It's really sad. Knife crime seems to be happening quite often.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really sad story. You know, number one, a 15-year-old on her way to school, if I'm not mistaken, losing her life over something that seems to be quite a common situation, at that age. 15-year-olds, the boy was 17 or is 17. She's obviously 15. Something to do with, boyfriend, girlfriend situation. I don't know if it was she was in a relationship with him or it was a friend and she stuck up for a friend. He's lost his temper, stabbed her to death and murdered her. That for me is just like something we hear way too often with young people, older people, all races. Let's not get it twisted. It's not a race thing. It happens amongst all races in the UK. And it's just a really sad time because I feel like there has to be some sort of highlight on the situation in the mainstream media. There's not enough highlight on these things in the mainstream media. Obviously, these situations come to light, but there are other situations that happen like this, and it doesn't come into the mainstream media. But it's just I'd say a very scary time for anyone that has children out of a young age, sees their children getting older, that you can't even expect your child to go to school safely now.
Yeah, I think that's the scariest part of it. It puts a lot of mums in a scary situation as well. Any parent, mum or dad, to send their kid, whether they're a girl or boy, you can't even send them to go to school and have a peace of mind that they're going to be safe travelling there or back because of situations like this happening. I also do feel like it happens a lot more often than we hear, and the mainstream media should pick up on it more. But I think they're definitely starting to highlight it because it's important for it to be highlighted.
I think there's a pick and choosing process when it comes to these things, and that's very, very bad because, like, it's the people on the ground that really suffer. It's the people that, the everyday people that's out and about, that are in these communities where these things happen. I mean, you see it happening in all different types of communities in different places around the country. So it's like, it's just one of those things where, like, it's just lost complete control. And I personally think that one of the reasons why the situation's gone completely out of control is, how accessible weapons are online for young people, for anybody to go online and purchase crazy looking weapons. I've seen some stuff that looks like it's come out of a movie and it's just there. You can buy it. People are buying it. They're walking around with it. Young people are going to do that. They feel like they have to act a certain way to survive. That's always been the case, growing up in city life, especially. Like, we've all been there when we're young and we're around people that, feel they have to prove themselves by being bad. And it's like, when you have access to weapons that are, crazy looking and can cause so much harm, you feel like you're protecting yourself. And we see it far too often. But I don't understand how young people can go online and purchase such weapons with such ease, yet other things that may not be as harmful or as dangerous are still, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
put on a list of like, yo, that's, they can't get hold of that.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like a lot of people don't really pay attention or don't care to situations like this until it's close to home or happens to like a family member or a friend. So I feel like it is another thing that the media should pick up on it more and not pick and choose, is because people literally don't know how distressing this is unless it happens close to home. So, and no one deserves to lose their life. So definitely should be picked up on more and highlighted.
I mean, that's a massive, massive point you just made there. You know what I mean? Like, people not really giving a damn about the situation until it's somebody in their family or someone close to home.
Someone close to home.
And for me, it's a situation where it's like, that's also down to the media, because the media has to make it a thing. Like, yo, that young girl has passed away. How much you know, how much care and time and effort is put into that school that she went to, now that there's an example that people can relate to. I mean, somebody like, you know, someone that I respect highly online actually is Farron Alex Paul. You know, he's a brother that he's grown up in the ends, and, you know, he's older and he's been through certain things. He's been stabbed multiple times and has decided to make a change within his power and try to help the situation. And, you know, this brother right here, he's posting up on his social media, you know, of him helping young people even hand weapons into the police because they don't want to be part of that no more. They feel bad even being in a situation where they're holding such a weapon. And even then, sometimes you see like Farron going to the police station with a weapon or a handful of weapons to give it in, and there's no facility for them to take it in. So he's literally just leaving it on a countertop in a police station, and then you look at that and you think, raw, like, as much as the people have to care, like, how much is, you know, the government and the system, how much do they care to help people, especially young people, stay away from being in a situation like that?
I definitely agree. I think it's so amazing what people like Farron are doing, and I'm sure a lot of other people like from the community that are trying to do to help, especially like the younger generation, learn about stuff like that. But I don't think there's enough in the system, the government, that's going on to actually stop stuff like this from happening, knife crime especially, because, you know, we've known for a long time that it's such a big thing. It's just not getting highlighted. There's nothing there for people to really, you know, do anything about. It's just, I guess, people like Farron are obviously there to try and make that change.
Yeah, definitely. Shouts to obviously Raspect as well. You know, Raspect Rebellion, another brother that's, you know, on the ground doing loads for the community, for, you know, people that, you know, might not know. You know, these are brothers that are like, they really on a day-to-day basis taking in the problems within, you know, the community, and like they're putting themselves on the front line, and they're exposing themselves as faces. But the goodness that they're doing, these are the people that need to be looked after. You know, they need to be funded. They need to be given the right facilities and resources to then carry out what they're already doing, but at a bigger scale. And it kind of worries me that that's not a thing that's being given to people in that position at the moment, and there's not enough highlight. And it takes a 15-year-old girl to get stabbed at 8:30 in the morning for people to now even down to us having this conversation because it's not put in our faces on a day-to-day basis that, yo, this is happening all over the world. Okay, cool, but it's happening in our country. Okay, it's happening in our city. It's happening in our borough, and you put it down to those close-knit situations to take it serious.
100%. It is such a big problem, but what even is a solution to something like knife crime? What is a solution to something like this?
Yeah, I mean, even that is a task in itself. I mean, I think in terms of the short term, it's definitely the awareness and the constant highlight of it. It's a must. You know, the mainstream media need to be all hands on this to make sure that people are constantly aware that this is happening. But that also scares a lot of people. It scares mothers, like you said, it scares parents and stuff. The accessibility to these kind of weapons, I mean, that in itself is a madness.
Scary.
Yeah, like you go on Farron's page again on Instagram and you see like when he's posting videos of what kind of weapons are accessible to young people. It's scary. I think punishment, the level of punishment is absolutely vital. People need to fear the system. I don't think people fear the system at all. And I think that's what it is. The awareness, the punishment, and the accessibility off the top of my head. And then people like Raspect and people like Farron, they need to be given, in my opinion, the push, the funding, the facilities to go harder, and to also help them be able to even recruit more people and it becomes a thing.
Make that change.
Yeah, definitely. So shouts to those guys right there. You know, we're constantly seeing the hard work and the great work that they're doing. And I just hope that there is a change made for the better.
So do I.